Hello, welcome to Fully Charged. Now, this show is really special because I'm in a Mercedes. Now, this is the first time I have ever driven a Mercedes. Obviously, I've been in Mercedes. I've usually sat in the back while someone drives me to a TV studio or something, a Mercedes taxi. But I've never driven a Mercedes in my life. And this one is obviously a really rather posh one. This is the Mercedes C350e 2017 model. It's not even out yet. You can't even see this car. That's how cool it is. Now, here's an interesting little fact that it's got really nothing to do with the car, but it has got a little bit to do with the, I don't know how else to put it, the Mercedes PR department, who I've been trying to get in touch with for a long time because they're doing a lot of electric and plug-in hybrid cars, and I'd love to test drive them for Fully Charged. I've never been able to get any response from them. But I mentioned this to a friend of a friend, and we're going to drive off now. There we go. And I got a message back from a very, very nice man called Phil, who owns this car, and he said, why don't you come and test drive mine? So instead of getting a Mercedes from Mercedes, I've got a Mercedes from Phil. So it has, I think from what I can tell, about a 25-mile range on the batteries. If you just drive it on pure electric mode, and but you can also drive it in a sort of varying states of hybrid modes. You know, like a hybrid car, so that the battery comes in and then goes off again, and then the petrol engine comes in, so you're getting higher MPG. And then you can also have it in sport mode, and then you can have it in sport mode plus, which apparently is quite impressive. So it is a 2-litre petrol engine, I think a turbocharged 2-litre petrol engine, and an electric motor. One of the interesting things is all the stalks on the steering column are extremely familiar to me, as in they are exactly the same ones on a Tesla Model S. So these levers here on the steering wheel, wipers, cruise control, gear shift arrangement, they are the same ones. The Tesla has Mercedes controls in it. You'll have to forgive me because I've got in the car, we've rigged up cameras, I got in the car, sat in it, started it, drove it, that's it. Oh, that's interesting. So he's driven 1,047 miles on electric mode since he's had the car, and he's driven 3,000 miles in the car. So that gives you a clue of how much you do in the electric mode. That's impressive. Anyway, so it's a Mercedes. It's clearly beautifully engineered. It's the absolute pinnacle of German engineering prowess. The steering is exquisite. The vision out of the car, the rear view, the mirrors, all that stuff is, you just go, oh God, when you get it right in a car, this is what it looks like. As you can tell, it's incredibly quiet. I will try the various different modes. So I'm going to go into that. Now this is e-save mode. E-save mode means that the engine should be running. There's the engine running. Okay, yeah, that's quite fast. But what that's doing is it's saving the battery until you get to your destination. But even then, now the engine's off now, because you didn't need it because I wasn't pushing it. Okay, so now we'll go to another one. That's charge, so that will charge the battery. So that means the engine is running constantly while you're driving, and it's charging the battery. And you can feel actually it's working harder. I can sense that it's going because it's charging, and it's still running now. So even though we're going down a hill, the engine's still running. So now I'm going to try, this is hybrid mode. So now we're going down a hill, so the engine isn't running at all, because obviously it doesn't need to. The electric motor is now regenerating power back into the batteries. Because obviously if you've got a Mercedes, then you're probably into driving and you like the control that you have over your driving experience. In fact, you want a driving experience. And so if you put it in sport mode, right, you've now got control over the gears. So that was in quite a low gear because I was going down a slight hill. So if I do that now, I'm in third, I'm in second. Yes, okay. So it does have quite a bit of jolt, but there's one more. Sport Plus. Okay, now it's now got a lot of extra things that come on the dashboard. It's basically telling me just don't do it. So I'm now back into electric mode. What's interesting is I've been in this car for all of 5 minutes driving it. I've been shown where the buttons are once, and I'm just finding them. I don't have to take my eyes off the road. I can find all the various modes by feel. I'm not looking over at a screen and touching a screen like in a Tesla. They don't like buttons at Tesla, but you know, every now and then there's something to be said for a bit of a button. So I should explain where we are. We're down near Exeter in Devon, and it's gorgeous, and we're going for a lovely drive in through the countryside. I did e-save. No, come back. No, I want e-mode. There. No, e-mode. Can I just take back what I said about touchscreens? They're really good. What's weird about this, my first time driving in a Mercedes, I actually feel like quite a good driver, which I don't normally. I feel really in control of the car. That's the beauty of it. What this does, of course, is as always, is people who drive a plug-in hybrid then go, oh, my next car will be electric because it works and I can use it and I understand how it works. And, you know, Phil, the owner of this car, he plugs his car in at home just on an ordinary 3-pin plug. So there's a couple of other things that I'm learning about this car. One, I really like driving it. 2, I wish it was 100% electric, like that Nissan Leaf that's going the other way. You know, it just feels like it should be an electric car because it's just a brilliant electric car when it is one. But it's got some amazing technology. The throttle, the accelerator, the go faster pedal has haptic feedback. So if you push it too far, so I'm like pushing it to where it's going to come out of hybrid mode and go into go out of electric mode and go into use the petrol engine, you get a little click. It doesn't stop you doing it, but it just goes, and you get this feeling on your foot like it's got a bit of, well, like there's some phones have haptic feedback on the buttons and some computers do. It sounds like it's very grandiose. It's just a little vibration. So you're getting this feedback when you're trying to do an economic drive. And the feedback in the throttle is coming from the sat-nav's knowledge of the route, and it's trying to make sure that you get the maximum fuel economy for the route you're using. So the haptic feedback is telling you, ease off the throttle a bit, and the way that information comes is from the sat-nav. So you put a destination in the sat-nav, it knows the route, it knows the hills, the dips. There we go, the engine just kicked in then. It just reminds you, basically. It's sort of driver feedback, but it's a new form of driver feedback I've never experienced before. When it first did it, I was worried that I'd broken the throttle, that something had snapped, because it felt a bit weird, because it went tung like that. It gives you a little kick in the foot. There's no other way of describing this, but someone who isn't a professional car reviewer driving a really awesomely decked out high-tech Mercedes for the first time going, wow, it's doing all sorts of really, really clever things, and I'm not quite sure what they are. Because at the moment I haven't got cruise control on, but the car's just sort of driving itself, which is quite alarming. So at the moment I'm doing 99.9 miles to the gallon, which is completely unrealistic because, you know, we've been going down the hill and we're in hybrid mode. What Phil has told me is he averages over, he does a lot of very long motorway drives. He's averaging, his overall consumption is about 65 miles to the gallon, which in a car of this, you know, size and potential performance is better than your average Mercedes diesel or petrol, which would get 25 to 30 miles to go. And now, of course, I like saying that because then I'll get hundreds of comments from Mercedes drivers who will swear blind that their diesel Mercedes get 85 miles to the gallon. But do you know what? I don't believe them. Someone's got to work out a better way of measuring how many kilometers you do to a litre, because that doesn't work. Saying so many litres per 100 kilometers is too boring and long. What I want the same as MPG. Can someone work it out, please? Because I get a lot of criticisms. What I'm talking about now is what I'm seeing here, which is, it says in the car, 99.9 MPG, miles per gallon. I quite like KP something, kilometers per litre. Surely someone can work out how many kilometers you do a litre.
So, the Mercedes C350e Sport. Here are some actual stats directly from Mercedes. The list price is £38,845, but as we all know, that's a suggested price. The car is available to lease for around £250 a month. It's a 5-seat,